Guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you get an Anaconda up to around about 55 light years. Obviously this can vary a little bit. If you're really lucky with a certain roll, you might be able to get it up to around about 60. Anyway, this build is only really suited for exploration and long range trips. I wouldn't recommend, this build is not suitable at all for combat, and you may be actually able to use it somewhat for trading, but it's not what I intended. So let's have a look at our default Anaconda, which has got around about 26.4 light years. You may find you get about an average of 21, something like that, which is not bad, but this is a sort of basic Anaconda we're going to sort of start with. So what we need to do is we have a look in our outfitting. I would suggest not having any weapons on this build. They will just cause extra power, and they will add extra mass, which you just won't need. For utility mounts, you won't need any of there either. So the first thing I would suggest after you've done that is to look at the engineers. You specifically want to work for this engineer, and you want to get the level 5 increased frame drift drive. You'll have to do the level 1 upgrades and then go to the level 2s and 3s. You can keep doing the level 1, but you only get a smaller bonus for it. But eventually you want to work your way into the level 5 increased frame drift drive, and once you do, you want to roll it a few times and see if you can get a good optimal mass increase. So if we go into our outfitting section, so the first thing, like I said, is that frame shift drive. If we have a look, so that is my one. It's not quite as good as some people have got out there, but if we go and have a look at the modifications, when we was rolling, you can see we've got an increased mass of 40%, which is not ideal, adding an extra 16 tons, but it shouldn't affect things hugely. Like I said, if when you're doing the roll, you tend to not want that one, but it's not kind of a deal breaker. Next, integrity is not going to make much difference, you're not fighting. Power draw in the amount here is not going to make a big effect, going from 0.75 to 0.9. Like I said, if it was a bigger power draw, it may start noticing it, but the main thing you're looking for is optimized mass. Here you can see I've got about 50, just under 55% increase, which is going to increase the frame drift drive massively. There is the increased fuel per jump, which is quite useful as well, but you might be, it depends how lucky you are with your actual engineer. But anyway, so once we get that one in, you can see now our frame shift drive range has gone up to just under 40. So we're still kind of short of the 55 we was looking for. So what we need to do to get that is to get rid of some of the mass on this ship. So if we have a look, like I said, if we've got rid of our hard points and utility mounts, we want to look at our core internals. So we don't want any bulkheads or anything like that. We want to have what thrusters we got. So thruster wise, we want the smallest we can get away with. I think that's a 6D, so that's going to increase our range a bit more. The reactor I'm going to leave late for a little bit later, because we will want to work out how much power we actually need. The frame shift drive, like I said, you're going to need A6. Life support 5D. The power coupler is something that you'll want to change. As you can see, it's using 160 tons mass. So I would suggest going for kind of the smallest you can go for. The very small ones, like class 3D and class 2, are very small. They shouldn't have a big effect. You can probably go for something like a 4D, which should give you a little bit more strength to shields and stuff like that. If you really want the maximum, like I said, go for the smallest you can, but I'm going to go for a 4D. Sensors, put D in again, they're not going to make a huge difference, and fuel tank, really you want the biggest you can there. So this reactor, depends how much you want here, but like you said, with the weapons and stuff removed, you can go for quite a small reactor. Here I've gone for a 5D, so if we equip that one, So now you can see shield going back up. We should have around about 52.6 light years, which is not far from our 55 that we want. So the next thing we want to do is to have a look at our optional internals. Now here I would suggest putting an A6 fuel scoop. I know they're quite expensive, but it allows you to restock your fuel pretty fast. When you get into the class 7 stuff, it gets very expensive. I don't think it's worth the extra money. You'll probably find that you've got a kind of A6 kind of shield here, or an A7, depending on your build. I would suggest equipping something much smaller. So if we just store that one, you can see now our jump drive range has gone up to 56.15. However, I would suggest equipping a shield of some sort. Up here I'm going to go for a class 4. Oops, if I get the right section. Perhaps I sold it. Oh yeah, I did. So here I'm going to put in class 4A, which is not going to make a huge difference to our jump range, but it's going to give us a bit of a buffer in case we hit things or we make a mistake on a planet or some filth. So I would suggest put a shield as such. And as you can see now, our jump drive range is now 55.2. If you're lucky with the roll with the engineer, you might be able to get that up to about 60, and obviously you might even get that slightly higher depending on what equipment. You could put, like I said, a very small power coupler, but I think the extra is worth it and it's not going to make too much trouble. So as for other optional internals, I would suggest coming down to the bottom and fitting a docking computer. That just makes things a lot easier if you're on a planet, and it saves you the hassle of trying to land. Next we want an advanced discovery scanner, especially if you're going exploring, that's very important. And then a detailed surface scanner also. Like I said, those two are completely optional, and depending if you're using this ship for exploration, you may want it just for the long jump range. And I would suggest taking a few cargo racks in case. But anyway guys, that's how you get an Anaconda up to 55-60 light years. Hopefully that's helped you and explained everything. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them know, they're always welcome. One thing that could help a lot is if you like and subscribe, that's always a big beneficial thing. Anyway guys, take care and have fun out there.